Welcome to NFL Week 10 predictions. Last week, I went 10-4. Yeah, I kind of felt like that last week. If I did had maybe, I was going to say the Cardinals one. Yeah, I would have been wrong, but I got it wrong. I went 10-4. Overall record 92-42. So I'm like 550 losses away to even the record, but overall, I'm just proud that I'm 92-42. Challenge me, NFL. Starting off with Thursday night between the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Denver Broncos at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. Denver is a 9.5 point favorite, and this is the highest spread of the week. Yeah, we're kicking off with a banger. Broncos coming off a win against Houston last week, and again, short week. They're hoping these players can stay healthy for this game, and all of a sudden, the Broncos, they're looking very well in controlling the AFC West. But taking on the Raiders, a team that last week they had a shot to get their third win of the season, and they went for 2 points and failed. Miserable. And they already, of course, yesterday had the trade deadline, so I will be recapping some of the trades that happened at the trade deadline. The Raiders traded Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars, so now they're left with Jack Beck, the rookie from TCU, Daquan Thornton, the rookie from Tennessee, and of course they signed Tyler Lockett from the Titans. So receiving group is going to be a little questioning. But also, they still have Brock Bowers at tight end, so he's a still superstar, and Ashton Jeanty. But I got to give it to the Broncos. The Broncos defense is way too good. They need to control this game because after this game is their best game of the season or biggest opponent of this season, and that's the Chiefs. So they need to let the Chiefs know that they run the division. So give me the Broncos. Broncos win by 10. The Atlanta Falcons taking on the Indianapolis Colts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Indy is a 6.5 point favorite, and this game is played in Berlin, Germany. So, wow. We're not going to Bayern Munich Stadium. We're not going to, I'm assuming, what are the other stadiums we had? I guess Berlin is a great place. Sorry about the sniff. But the Colts are coming off a tough loss to the Steelers, and they had to make a big trade to get Sauce Gardner. Boy, they had to give up first-round picks and plus A.D. Mitchell to get Sauce Gardner. And we'll see if he makes his debut this week against the Falcons, who they moved on with Parker Romo, and they went with Zay Gonzalez. Sorry about them. Sorry, Colts win. Their defense is way too good. I would think the Falcons offense will keep it close, but I think the Colts defense will give them a missable. Colts win by 9. Cleveland Browns taking on the New York Jets at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern on CBS. Cleveland is a 2.5 point favorite. This one is going to get a little uglier because, the Jets just traded Quentin Williams and they traded Sauce Gardner. The good news is you get A.D. Mitchell and you get Mazi Smith. Two young players are going to have to step up this season. Going up against the Browns, who came off the bye week, looking fresh. And could we now be hearing the Shedeur Sanders phone call? Hey, Shedeur, we're going to need you to be the starting quarterback next week. Dylan Gabriel's not doing anything good. You know what? Please be the starter this week. But that's what this is going to be about for Cleveland. And this game is going to be a little uglier. Now, Garrett Wilson is questionable. We'll see if he does play. And, of course, the Jets, the last time we saw them, they got their first win of the season against the Bengals. So can they make it to this week? I don't know. I got it. I'm going to take the Browns. The Browns defense is going to shut down that Jets offense. And, Dylan Gabriel has to have a big-time game or else Shedeur Sanders is going to come in as the starter next week. Browns win by 1 point. Then, The New Orleans Saints take on the Carolina Panthers at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Carolina is a 5.5 point favorite, and yes, for those who are a Bryce Young hater, give respect to your team because they're 5-4 thanks to him. Now, last week I know he didn't have to do much last week, all thanks to Rico Dowell who had to do the celebration. There you go. I'll just do one pump there. But the Panthers came to Green Bay and upset them, which the Packers were 13.5 favorites, and they came in as underdogs and won it. Big time for the Panthers. Can they keep it going? Because against the Saints, yeah, they lost to Los Angeles. They just want their season to end. And this game is a trap game because the Saints always have their number anytime throughout the season. But I like Carolina. I think Carolina should run the ball a lot. They need to get T-Mac involved, and Bryce Young needs to step up in the pocket to get to his receivers, his tight ends, and hand it off to his running back. So that is going to need to this is the game they need to step up. Sorry. Panthers win by 6. What could be the most interesting game between the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS? Tampa Bay is a 2.5 point favorite. Wow, that's an interesting one. That's interesting. The Patriots still on top of the AFC East. Although they had some easy wins, by the way, except the Bills. They had a big time win there. Now this is their best test against the Bucs on the road. And yeah, the Bucs, they're watching Carolina winning, and they're going with, oh, you know what? We need to start winning our games right now. And they are coming off the bye week, of course. Bucky Evans should be healthy. That run game should be really good. And this is a great game. I would be surprised if New England offense does find a way to slow down that Bucs defense. But I like Tampa's offense. But I'm not going to do it. Patriots, you better beat the Bucs. Patriots win by 5. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Minnesota Vikings at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Baltimore is a 4.5 point favorite. Okay, Baltimore coming off a big time win on the road against Miami. Lamar Jackson looks back. Going up against the Vikings, who had a big time win against the Lions and J.J. McCarthy's return. I don't think against that Ravens defense is going to be enough, but this is going to be a defensive football game, and you know who I pick? Ravens will win it by 3. Buffalo Bills taking on the Miami Dolphins at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Buffalo is an 8.5 point favorite, and yes, they're going to Miami. Now, you better not lose this game because, yes, you beat the Chiefs last week, but you better beat Miami this week. Miami, I don't have nothing to say for because, yeah, they traded Jalen Phillips to the Eagles, and all the Dolphins fans should say, Kelly, why did you have to trade our best pass rusher to the team that's won the Super Bowl? And, yeah, it didn't go that perfect. So give me Buffalo by 10. New York Giants taking on the Chicago Bears at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Chicago is a 4.5 point favorite, which the Bears are looking to get their 6th win of the season. But for the Giants, they're trying to spoil their season. And yeah, the loss to the 49ers was brutal. Chicago should win this. Give me the Bears by 5. Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Houston Texans at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Jacksonville is a 1.5 point favorite, and the Jags, hey, they saw the Colts loss. Maybe there is a chance they can still win this division. But here's where this goes. They added Jacoby Myers from the Raiders in the trade deadline, which is interesting because, yes, Travis Hunter is on IR. He'll miss this week's game, next week, and week 12. So he's probably going to expect a return to week 13, week 14. Makes sense. That's why they brought Jacoby Myers here. Going up against the Texans, who had a frustrating loss to the Broncos, and it's been reported today that CJ Stroud is out this week with a concussion protocol, and that's a huge loss for that Texans offense. Give me the Jaguars by 4. Arizona Cardinals take on the Seattle Seahawks at 4:05 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Seattle is a 6.5-point favorite. This is the hottest team in the NFL, the Seahawks, riding on the 6-2 record, and Sam Darnold is doing what Seahawks fans want to go to the playoffs. And this game against Arizona, listen, they just made the move. Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter for these games. For this game. You know why? Because they just put Kyler Murray on IR. What is Arizona doing? Kyler Murray should be ready to go this week, and you just put him on IR. What's going on with the Cardinals organization? Are we moving on with Kyler Murray and go with Jacoby Brissett? Or are they just saying, oh, let's just give Jacoby Brissett a chance. And if he does play very better, then let's trade Kyler Murray. Good luck. All right, you know what? Seahawks win by 10. All right, America's Game of the Week on Fox. The Detroit Lions travel to Washington, D.C. and take on the Commanders at 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Detroit is an 8.5-point favorite. The Commanders, no Jane Daniels, no Marshawn Lattimore, no Luke McCaffrey, and their season is not where they want to be. Going up against the Lions, who are looking to get back on track after their disappointing loss to the Vikings at home. So here in this game, give me the Lions. They win this by 12. Rams take on the 49ers at 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Rams are a 4.5-point favorites. This is a huge game for both teams. Of course, you know the Seahawks, Arizona are playing each other in the AFC West. But this one is a big-time game for both teams. Which one is going to have a chance to win the NFC West? Rams, 49ers. Always is a rivalry. These two already met each other a few last month on Thursday night. 49ers had to go with Mac Jones, and they beat the Rams. So now the question goes, how or who is going to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers? Because, yeah, I don't know what's going on right now with them because Brock Purdy should be ready to go. Brock Purdy should have been ready. All right, forget it. I'm just saying. But the 49ers, the question is Brock Purdy going to return? We don't know. But if he's not playing, give me the Rams winning it by 5. All right, to Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Los Angeles Chargers at 8:20 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Chargers are a 3.5-point favorites. The Steelers, big win at home against the Colts. Now they travel to the West Coast and take on the Chargers. Oh yes, they lose Joe Alt out for the season. The good news is they acquire Saints guard Trevor Pinion. Now, Trevor Pinion usually plays tackle mostly in college, so they're going to probably move him from the guard position to maybe left tackle, which is a great thing for Trevor Pinion because he's a real good tackle when he was in college, and now he's more not goodish in as a guard. But here against the Steelers, they need to win this. Give me the Chargers by 2 points. And finally, this is my game of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles travel to Green Bay and take on the Packers at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN. Green Bay is a 2.5-point favorite. Oh boy. Okay. How's Green Bay a 2.5-point favorites after Tucker Kraft is out for the season? And what else? They just came off a loss to the Carolina Panthers. Worst. Should have been Philadelphia. Who are the Eagles? They enjoy their bye week. And they're now the number 1 seed in the NFC. And what? They just added Jalen Phillips. So they got Michael Carter from the Jets. They got Jair Alexander, who's going to make his return to Green Bay. That's going to be a good one. And they bring in Jalen Phillips. So obviously, they're like what? The Rams of 2020 when Matthew Stafford was traded from Detroit to the Rams, and Von Miller joined the Rams, and Odell Beckham Jr. did it. Same thing. But here in this game, this is the game that the Packers fans have been wanted the league to ban touch push. I don't know. They'll be running this 23 times as they said, but give me the Eagles winning it by 4. Wrong number. There we go. 4. That's it for my NFL Week 10 predictions. If you have not seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more sports news.